Griff Jenkins is on the story from Alexandria, Virginia, with more. Griff.
Hey, Harris, this is a fluid situation. Let's start with what Governor Glenn Youngkin told you in the last hour, which is Virginia will immediately petition the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals and, if necessary, the Supreme Court. Now, he added in his statement this key graph. Look here. He said, let's be clear about what just happened. Only 11 days before a presidential election, a federal judge ordered Virginia to reinstate over 1,500 individuals who self-identified themselves as non-citizens back onto the voter rolls. Almost all of these individuals had previously presented immigration documents confirming their non-citizen status, a fact recently verified by federal authorities, the governor says. Now, this comes after Judge Giles had ordered the 1,600 voters be reinstated after being removed following Youngkin's August 7th executive order. At the crux of Judge Giles' ruling, Harris, was this. She said there was reason to believe that eligible voters had their voting registration flagged, and she went on to say it's in the public interest for ineligible voters to be removed, but also for states to comply with federal law. In this case, she means the National Voter Registration Act, which the DOJ sued over, saying Youngkin had violated this 90-day quiet period before Election Day. Judge Giles agreed, calling the order a clear violation of the 90-day quiet period. But Fox News legal scholar Jonathan Turley had a different reaction.
This was approved by the Department of Justice years ago under then Governor Kane, who ironically is on the ballot this election. The Department of Justice greenlights this law. No objection in past years when it was used by Democrats, even allegedly during this period. And then suddenly when we use it to remove who we believe to be non-citizens, it becomes a problem.
Now, we expect that Virginia could appeal, and we could see some of that appeal as early as today, perhaps in the next few hours, and we'll learn more about what their arguments are and whether they track a little bit with what Professor Turley was just talking about. Harris?
Griff Jenkins, always great reporting. Thank you on the breaking news today. So, Kayleigh, you and I were just talking about this. The date that the DOJ sued Virginia over all of this was August 7th. August 7th was exactly 90 days before the election. So my question is, those voters had to go through, those non-citizens had to go through the vetting process of the DOJ to get there. And Glenn Youngkin said last hour to me, with his first reaction, that the DOJ had already cleared that. So either they are making mistakes. I'm not sure how this came about, but now we're a few days away from an election, and it looks political.
It does. 11 days before an election, no chance of an appeal and decision in the next 11 days. And I heard Governor Youngkin on your program. He's exactly right. These are people who self-identified. They wrote, I am not a citizen. They checked a box that said no to citizenship. They are given a notice that they have 14 days to come and fix the problem if there is a problem. They then have a third fail-safe where they can cast a provisional ballot. And if they are indeed citizens, it is counted. But what is crazy to me, and you've heard Youngkin say this, is that in 2006, it was Terry McAuliffe who passed this law. And I just have Tim Kaine. The general registrar shall cancel the registration of all persons known by him not to be United States citizens. That's Tim Kaine in 2006. This was then used by Terry McAuliffe. It was then used by Ralph Northam, two Democrat governors. Not a problem when they do it, but it's a problem when Governor Youngkin does it as polls come and show Donald Trump within striking distance in a blue state.
You know, Doug Collins is with us, and congressman, and a whole lot of other things going on in your background that I would imagine fit this question, and it's a legal one. How is it possible now, because I'm reading, that the DOJ can pause the entire program of vetting non-citizens on the voter rolls in the state of Virginia after this election?
Yeah, I mean, the problem you've got here is again, and I go back to what the Attorney General in Virginia just said, when is it should ever be illegal to take illegal voters off the roll? And that's exactly what happened here. You made the case, and you can make arguments that they misspoke, but they had 14 days to cure it. They have a provisional ballot to cure it. This has been done before. Why now? It's purely political. And this is, look, lawfare among the Democrats is very good. They know how to do this because they knew they could get it right before this is happening. You got 1,600 now that are approved to be on the roll. Think about the ballots in Virginia when races are decided by less than 1,600 votes. Think about that for just a second. What the Department of Justice just sued about is now can influence elections in not just the presidential, but on down the ballot. The issue that we have here is you got to have laws that are in place. There are issues of voter deadlines. Virginia met those. They're self-identified. They know this. And I heard this excuse the other day that they were saying, well, they self-identify because they don't want to do it on jury duty. I don't care why you self-identify. You have a chance if you now want to vote to prove that you are a citizen. This is just simple, more or less, interference in an election, the only way you can look at it right now.
Leslie, if this is politics or it has the blush of politics, it changes how people will see it. And what we don't want is for anybody in this country, let alone Virginia, and Glenn Youngkin, the governor, said this to me last hour, we want as many people to feel confident to go vote as possible. It's important.
I would say that it does look political, but I would say the other side looks political as well. And the reason is, first of all, they should have done it on August 6th, and we wouldn't even be having this conversation, because if you look at the specific terms of the National Voter Registration Act of 1993, it's within 90 days. So when you file 90 days out, I'm not a lawyer, Emily is, you could actually argue.
But that's
it's
when
within,
the DOJ sued.
It's within the 90-day period. Here's the problem that I have, because I have spoken to people that on my radio show that will do that. I'm like, why would you do that? You know, and like you said, not only are they afraid of jury duty, there are people that just make a mistake. They're not paying attention to what they're doing. And then there are people that said, oh, wait a minute, I am a citizen, but I didn't have transportation. I was in the hospital.
Okay.
I'm elderly.
But then what do they do when they get the 14-day notice? Don't they show up and fix it?
I didn't understand. And by the way, a lot of these people do seem to me, when they check that box, that they may register, but I don't think they're necessarily going to show up to vote, because they don't seem to take the
Governor Youngkin
process
has said that there are 6 times to cure this situation. And the DOJ chose to sue on August 7th. Virginia didn't get the party started then. So my question then becomes, and Emily, maybe you can address this, why wait until the last minute when this had been going on for years, Glenn Youngkin said. They've been doing this for years, and these particular voters had already been looked at much prior to August 7th. So I don't understand what the Justice Department is doing.
Because it is political. And my point was exactly that the opportunity to cure is baked into the law. And since the law was passed, we have had over 4 presidential elections where there was no issue whatsoever. So if you look at this from a sort of objective analysis point of view, and you say, as judges take into account balancing factors, and they say, what would be worse? You know, having a non-citizen on the roster? Would it be worse to have a citizen removed? Right? They err on the side of preserving our so very sacred right to vote in this country. However, the opportunity to cure was already baked in with the law, and it's been working just fine. And the whole point is, irrespective of the 14 days, on the date of voting, you can cast your provisional ballot when you show your ID. So you have until our sacred day of November 5th to indeed come in and say, I am sorry, sir, I am actually a citizen. Here's my proof, and here's my vote. So this is an absolute travesty, and unfortunately being wielded by the left, by the DOJ, and it is underscoring for all of us Americans that we have been subjected to a very subjective Department of Justice that has, believe me, none of our interests in it.
I want to ask our team, do we have Governor Glenn Youngkin? Let's roll it.
Yeah, Harris, this is a stunning ruling by a federal judge who is ordering Virginia to reinstate individuals who have self-identified as non-citizens back on the voter rolls. And what's even more astounding is the vast majority of these folks had presented immigration documents confirming that they were non-citizens, and we recently had that verified by federal authorities. So here we are with a judge saying, put people back on the voter rolls who you know are non-citizens. And that's why we are immediately petitioning the Fourth Circuit for an emergency stay here on this injunction. And we will immediately go to the U.S. Supreme Court if necessary.
Look,
we are not going to sit by and let this happen.
So Kayleigh had mentioned, that's not going to happen before Election Day, 11 days away or so. And my question is, what fixes this for people who feel like they're in competition for votes with people who don't belong in the country? Or just haven't become citizens yet? They may have come here legally, but they're not citizens yet.
Yeah. And the concern here is what the governor just said. This has been vetted through DOJ. They know who these people are. And basically you have a judge that says, facts be damned, I'm just going to do what I want to do. And I think that's the concern that I have here in looking at it, that they're presented with these facts, they're presented with this timeline. But this lawfare is not just in Virginia, in Georgia.
Talk to me about that, because you're an attorney in the state of Georgia.
Yeah, we have a 45-day window to challenge voters in the state of Georgia. Democrats in several counties challenged 150, 200 voters. They did it about a day before the deadline.
Wow.
When this happens, all of those people all of a sudden get notifications that they're now being questioned. They're taken off the rolls in those counties until the election, and then they have the chance to cure it or go after the ballot. But they do it right at the deadline. They do it when they know that they can't get any relief from this, and this is what we're seeing all over. Our elections should be free, fair, and everybody eligible who is eligible to vote. We cannot have this lawfare. It's the democracy. The democracy argument for the Democrats is fading quickly here when they see this kind of stuff.
By the way, the activist judges' roles in this should be an absolute alarm bell, the canary in the coal mine to everyone, that when you vote by November 5th, this is what you are voting for. If you vote for a certain party, you are voting for those activist down-ballot judges that then have to get slapped back to reality by the Supreme Court that your tax dollars pay for. Believe me, if you want judges that uphold the law, it is not blue.
All right. Whew. I love this show.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kayleigh McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.